Good morning, dear students, and welcome to our class. Today we'll be discussing the poem Refugee Blues by the British poet W.H. Auden. It is from your textbook Zeitgeist of the second semester, and let me begin by giving you some important background information for you to understand this poem. This poem written by W.H. Auden, simply is about the sufferings of Jewish people during the time of Hitler in Germany. It is about the sufferings of the Jewish people during the time of Hitler in Germany. From schools, you must have studied about the Second World War and the Nazi regime that ruled Germany, and how the Nazis, under the leadership of Germany, persecuted, oppressed, killed, and persecuted the Jewish people of Germany. To give you a number, in Germany alone, 6 million Jewish people were killed by Hitler. Many of them were burned alive, many of them were shot to death, many of them were sadly killed in the gas chambers. And many Jews were forced to run away from Germany. Jewish people were forced to abandon their businesses, their houses, their families, and they were made refugees. Many of them fled to other countries. They were literally homeless people in the world. They were thrown out of their homes, they were thrown out of their land, and they were thrown out of their own country. They became refugees. And the speaker of this poem is a Jewish mother, or it may be a Jewish father. Let's say Jewish mother for the time being. The speaker of the poem is a Jewish mother, and the mother is speaking to her child, and she is speaking about this world, the world that she was living in, the world that her child was living in, the world, the Germany, the country of Germany, the German society that they were living in, the country of Germany from where they were thrown away, Germany where they were hunted, Germany they were being killed, Germany where they were being forced to suffer trials and tribulations that many of us cannot speak about. This is the background of the poem. Speaker is a Jewish mother, and mother is talking to her child about the sufferings of Jewish people during the time of Hitler in Germany. Let's start the poem. Say, this city has 10 million souls. Some are living in mansions, some are living in holes. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. The mother is talking to her child, and the mother is saying, you know, my child, they say in this city there are 10 million souls. There are 10 million people living in this city. There are thousands and thousands of people living in this city. Why 10 million? Because the speaker is trying to uh, underscore, the speaker is trying to underline the fact that there are so many people living in this city. And what city, which city is it? It can be any city in Germany under the rule of Nazi regime. And she says, these people say there are million people living in this city. Some are living in mansions. Mansion means, big houses like palace. Some are living in mansions. Some are living in bungalows. Some are really rich. Some are super rich. Some have everything that they need to live in this world. But at the same time, some are living in holes. You see, some people are living like animals in holes. And she is talking about poor people. She is talking about Jewish people there. Jewish people who were forced to run away from their own houses. Jewish people who were forced to seek shelter in, in places where they will not be found out by the Nazi regime. Jewish people who were forced to run away from their houses and who were so afraid, and because of their fear, they were hiding like animals. So, this is the condition of this big city. Million, 10 million people live on this city, in this city. Some are so rich, some are living so comfortably, but at the same time, you and I, our people, Jewish people, we have been thrown away from our houses, we have been thrown away from our homes, we have been thrown away from our country. We have no place in this city, we have no place in this country. So, like animals, we are living in the holes, holes of fear, holes of suffering. We are living like animals. So, you see, in that first two lines itself, the speaker is making a contrast between the life of common people and Jewish people in that time. Common people had everything that they need in the world. They had big bungalows, they had big houses, they had big mansions, they had clothing and everything. They were living comfortably, but at the same time, the Jewish people, they had nothing. They were living like animals. They did not even have houses. They did not even have a country to call their own. They were living like animals in the holes. And even though there are 10 million people living in this city, let's come to the poem. She says, "Yet there is no place for us, my dear, yet there is no place for us." Even though there are 10 million people living in this city, even though there are many mansions, big houses in this city, there is no place for us, dear. We have no place here. We are not allowed to live here. We are not allowed to make a living here. We are not allowed to work here. We are forced to run away. And that's why we are today here, refugees. The mother is telling her child about this world, about the world of suffering that she is living in, about the world of suffering, about the whole of suffering, about the whole of fear that she is living in. And by talking about her world, by talking about her life, by talking about her fear, by talking about her insecurities, the poet here is in fact talking about the condition of Jewish people during the regime of Nazis, during the regime of Hitler in Germany. Let's read the second stanza now. Once we had a country, we thought it fair. Look in the atlas, and you will still find it there. We cannot go there now, my dear. We cannot go there now. I told you in the introduction part, many Jewish people were forced to run away from Germany. They are not in that country now. They sought shelter in other countries. And that's what the speaker is saying now. Once we had a country, once we had a country like other people. Once we had this country, we lived in Germany. Germany was our country. Germany was our pride. We lived as normal citizens in Germany. Once we had our own country. Once we had our own home. And we thought that country is fair. What is fair? Fair means just. We thought that that country is just, but it was not. If you look at Atlas, if you go through the map, if you look If you take a look at the atlas, you can still find that country in the map. But there's a problem. You will still find that country in that map, but still there's a problem, my dear. The problem is we are not allowed to go there. We cannot go there now. The speaker says, we cannot go there now, my dear. We cannot go there now. So the speaker is repeating that idea. We are homeless now. We have been thrown out of our own houses. We have been thrown out of our own countries. We have been made stateless. We have been made people with no country to call as their own home, as their own homeland. These people have been thrown out of their country. So, in short, to summarize what I said so far, this poem is all about the sufferings of Jewish people during Second World War, when the Jewish people in Germany, Poland, and other countries were being persecuted by Hitler and his people. And here the speaker, a mother, a refugee mother in a refugee camp, is telling her child about the sufferings that they are they are facing, about the world that they are living in. And the world that they are living in is completely full of fear, and they have nothing to hold of. They have nothing to call as their own. They don't even have a house, they don't even have a home, and they don't even have a country. They are living just like animals in the holes. In the next day's class, we will talk about the rest of the poem. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I will clarify your doubts. Thank you. Thank you so much.